What is up, people of the internet? It is me, Real American Politics, back in with a new video. Today, it is time that we discuss the 2024 presidential election, but not just purely based on who I prefer. I'll talk about that today, but talking about the strategy. How can we win back the presidency? Now, I know a lot of people are going to say, oh, why should we listen to you? You were so wrong in 2022 and all this crap. And I got two things to say. Number one, screw you. Nobody got this election right. All right? I'm kidding, though. But you get the point. This idea that I was the only one so wrong. Look at everybody else. I had, in most states, my margin of error was like 2 points. Whoop-de-frickin-do. And a lot of these people, they're bashing people for no reason when their predictions were basically the same. Second point, my prediction was based on an R+5 generic ballot. And I'm going to go over this later in a future video, but currently we're looking like an R+3 electorate. I put that back in my model and you'll realize the prediction would have been, Republicans at, 225, 230 in the House, 51, 50 Senate seats. Yeah, that's right. Being off by 2 points of the generic ballot, which again, I said if I was off of the generic ballot by even one, I was going to have a big miss. So that's what I'm saying, people. What happened in 2022, everybody got it wrong. Fundamentals were broken. History doesn't make any sense. But I'm still going to be doing prediction stuff. I'm just saying I'm making a whole post-mortem of what went wrong for my predictions. But you get the point. Now, before we continue, I hope you enjoy these type of videos. If you do, smash that like button down below, subscribe, share with your friends, hit that little bell, follow the Twitter account in the description down below, and join the channel today. That is right, folks, for just 10 cents a day, you could join Real American Politics. That's right, only 10 cents a day. That's a phenomenal deal to help support the daily content. We all love the daily content. So I hope you join today. All right. So let's get into it. The first 2024 strategy video. How can Republicans win back the presidency? Now, there's a lot to explain in this video on how we can win it back. But first, we should start with what I consider to be the battleground map going into 2024. I really consider 6 states: Nevada, Arizona, Georgia, Wisconsin. Michigan's teetering, but it's still possible. And the state of Pennsylvania. Of course, Nebraska's second, being competitive. These are the states that will win the election. And Republicans' pathway is actually fairly simple. You just win these 3, and you're the president. So that's all you need to do. It's not this convoluted scheme where North Carolina could potentially go Democrat. No. People that really think that the certain candidate that I think is the best option for 24 would lose North Carolina. Give me a break. Stop this crap that Teflon Don, Donald John Trump, would somehow lose North Carolina. No, this is the 235 firewall. And you probably guessed, I still think, even though I may have an opinion on who may be better, Lee Zeldin, excuse me, but point is, Lee Zeldin, he would be better as an RNC chair, and I'll show you why. But Donald John Trump is the best major candidate we're getting to run in 2024. Electorally speaking, he is the best option. People are going to go nuts already. They're all going to say, DeSantis, DeSantis, DeSantis. Here's the problem with DeSantis. DeSantis. It's all the same thing. Here's his problem. Yes, he did great in Florida. Yes, he did help Republicans turn Florida into a red state. But he's not the sole reason. Trump was one of the bigger reasons Florida became what it is today. A Republican stronghold. Sure, DeSantis finished it off and, got off the rough edges, cleared off the rough edges, but still, Trump was the biggest reason for Florida being Republican. And here's another thing with DeSantis. Do you really think that he would be able to get these blue-collar, working-class voters out in Wisconsin, Michigan, Pennsylvania? I don't think so. Sure, he was able to do it in the Panhandle. We could see here Let's go. Let's find it. Florida. The great state of Florida. Point is, he did good in the Panhandle, the white working class part of Florida. But here's the problem. This is the big problem about comparing, the Panhandle and the Midwest. They're similar. There's a lot of people from the Midwest that live in Florida. I mean, he did great in a lot of these counties. But here's the problem. These voters don't have the same tendencies as those in Michigan, those in Wisconsin, those in Pennsylvania. They may have some similarities, but their voting habits are not exactly the same. And people are going to say, oh, well, that doesn't really matter. I mean, DeSantis would do great in the suburbs. Yeah, he would. I think he would do great in Waukesha, do great in Ozaukee, great in Washington. But in Wisconsin, you have to win it via the rural part of the state. And I still believe that while DeSantis has some strengths, Trump is still the best overall candidate. I'm not saying DeSantis is a bad one, but for electoral purposes, DeSantis is number 2. He's great on the issues. He'd be great for the Sun Belt. That I agree with. But you get to the Sun Belt, let's say Democrats do win Nebraska second. You're in deep trouble. You're in deep trouble in this situation. Because I don't think in this scenario, DeSantis would be able to win any of these Rust Belt states. And I'm not saying that because he's a bad candidate, but this is 2022. Look what happened. Ron Johnson was one of the best candidates. He nearly lost. Why? White working class voters did not turn out. Trump was not on the ballot, and we can see this better in the House races. Look at Michigan 8th. This is the best example I got. Look at this. Republicans got crushed here. These are Trump parts of the state. Michigan 7th, they got crushed even more. And John James saved us in Michigan. He's the only silver lining for the House delegation. But a lot of these areas, look at Ohio 9th. Trump was on the ballot. Look, Majewski got crushed. You could keep going to a lot of these races. You could find a lot of interesting trends. And again, I'm not saying that, DeSantis would do bad in rural parts. I'm just saying he wouldn't get the turnout he needs, which is crucial for the modern day Rust Belt. It's crucial. You need to get good rural turnout in a place like Pennsylvania. I mean, look at this. Oz did pretty bad across the board in Pennsylvania. Yes, he did. He basically did about Trump margins in Chester, Delaware. Did a little bit worse than Bucks, Montgomery, and Philly. But what really killed him was, look at this, the rest of the state. And the turnout was not that good. The turnout was just bad across the board for these white working class voters who in the Rust Belt are very unique. They're not ones like in Florida or Arizona. These are ones that have been traditionally Democrat for years. But Trump was able to win them over. This is what people need to get through their thick skulls. These voters still vote down ballot Democrat. They're becoming more Republican, but they're still voting down ballot Democrat significantly. And DeSantis, I don't think would win enough of these voters. I really don't. I think he would win an election, but I think it'd be very skim. I think he would win it via probably winning Wisconsin. But if he makes one F up, it's over. It's over for DeSantis. And I'm not denying he's a great candidate, but last week showed we need working class turnout. That's how he can win elections. And DeSantis, I have some question marks. Yes, he did good with working class voters in Florida, but they're not the same as those in Wisconsin, Michigan, Pennsylvania, even Ohio. I mean, you look at Ohio. Point being is, yes, this is because of Tim Ryan, but you do get the point that Republicans, white working class voters, they still vote Democrat down ballot, and we need somebody like Donald Trump who is able to ignite turnout with these voters. But that's not the only thing, because here's a problem with what's happening. Look what's happening in Nevada, Arizona, and Pennsylvania. Bunch of BS. So is Michigan. So even if we run Trump in this scenario, or DeSantis, here's the problem that we currently run into. There's a lot of bullshit happening with early voting in Nevada, Arizona, Pennsylvania, Michigan. And the only way we can truly win back the White House, because in this situation, it doesn't matter who you are. This situation, if we do not adapt, no Republicans winning the White House in 24. The only way is take a lesson from, guess what? Frickin' the California GOP. I never thought in a million years we would be praising these guys. But we are. Why? Look at Garcia. He won by 8. Look at California 13th. We may win this. You know what's happening? Late mail-in / early votes. I think it's, mail-in votes. They're breaking Republican. Think about that. Late breaking votes for the first time this cycle are breaking significantly Republican. That is what's happening. You know what they're doing? They're playing the same games as Democrats with early voting. Oh, you found 400 ballots? Bam, here's 500. And we're seeing this. Garcia's going to win by almost 10. Valadalo's going to hold on, I think, mostly because of a lot of the baloney that the Republicans in California have started to do. And that's a good thing. And you see this in the swing map. Every district in California has shifted significantly Republican. What happened in Arizona and Nevada? Yes, there was BS. But Republicans fell asleep at the wheel, and they just let Democrats get this ridiculous lead with early voting that it was so hard to overcome. Then you see what happened in Maricopa. I'm not alleging anything, but that was very suspicious what happened on Election Day. I'm not saying the F word, I'm just saying that a lot of baloney. But that's what happened. We did great in a lot of these suburban districts, places like Wisconsin 5th, etc. But we dropped the ball in working class Trump districts. But areas that we played the same games as Democrats, such as California, we ran the table across the board. It doesn't matter if it was urban, rural, etc. Most other states, it was just rural districts, which were the competitive seats, mind you. And like 90% of these races, they were white working class rural districts. We dropped the ball in them. But suburban districts and districts that we play the same games as Democrats, we ran the table on. We did great. But that's what Republicans need to do. And that's why I still think Donald Trump is the best option. He can be able to ignite working class turnout. A lot of these places like District 8 and District 7, if Trump's on the ballot, Republicans will win these seats. Places like Pennsylvania 8th, Pennsylvania 7th, etc. Even if he doesn't win the presidency, for the competitive districts and the Senate races, he's the best option. That's what I'm trying to get across to people. Sure, DeSantis may win. He absolutely can. I think he would win. But a lot of these competitive seats, I don't think would vote Republican. Under Trump on a ballot, they would, in my humble opinion. Now, one more thing before we end today's video. Make Lee Zeldin the RNC chair. Just no games. Make him the RNC chair. This statement is why he nearly won New York. Not only should the Republican Party compete in all 50 states, but we need to go to all communities, no matter how blue they are, show up often, build relationships, and advance our proposals on education, upward economic mobility, housing, mental health, public safety, and more. About time. This was one of the biggest reasons I think Republicans fell flat. A lot of these areas, rural Wisconsin that are purple, these are purple areas. What I think also caused a lot of turnout problems, even without Trump, is nobody knocked doors. I live in a purple area of Wisconsin. Not a single person knocked on doors in my area. Not one. That's what I think really happened. A big reason. I think Trump not being on the ballot is number one. But number two, I think Republicans, they just did not talk to these rural voters at all. Or even the, red areas, purple areas, blue areas. I don't think they talked to anybody. I think they got so complacent that they didn't do any door-to-door operations. That is a big reason that we need Lee Zeldin. He understood this. He campaigned in the Bronx. And he nearly won because of it. I think if Zeldin surged a week prior, he would have become the next governor of New York. He surged just a tad bit late. But I think this is a lesson that Trump being on the ballot and getting door-to-door operations and playing the early vote game, there's a serious shot the Republicans could sweep all the competitive seats. And DeSantis could do the same. But the biggest factor for the decline in working class turnout was because of Trump not being on the ballot. That's my opinion. Based on precinct data, that's what it looks like. Anyways, folks, thank you so much for watching. If you did enjoy this video, smash that like button down below, subscribe, share with your friends, hit that little bell, follow the Twitter account in the description down below, and join the channel today. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you guys in the next video. Godspeed to all of you.